This episode of Pool Magazine Podcast is proudly sponsored by Aquamatic Cover Systems, the leaders in functional technology across an entire spectrum of swimming pool covers. Today, retractable pool covers are an important part of any pool project. Regardless of your needs or budget, if your concerns are safety, energy efficiency, pool cleanliness, evaporation control, or all the above, Aquamatic has you covered. To learn more about Hydrolux, our most advanced and adaptable automatic system, visit us on the web today at aquamatic.com.
Welcome back to another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Joe Trusty, and today we're excited to talk about Women of Water, a brand new initiative created to connect, empower, and advocate for women across the pool, spa, and hot tub industry. Joining us are three remarkable women who are leading the charge. With us today on the show, we have Sabina Hickman, President and CEO of the Pool and Hot Tub Alliance, Kendall Large, Vice President of Marketing at POOLCORP, and Jamie Novak, Director of Marketing at POOLCORP. I believe all three of you have appeared on our podcast before, and we're so pleased to have you back with us today on the show to discuss this brand new initiative.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, Joe.
Yeah, looking forward to the conversation.
So Sabina, maybe you could start us off. I mean, what sparked the creation of Women of Water, and why has now become the right moment to launch it?
Great question. And Joe, thank you so much for inviting us back. So I've been with this organization for nearly 6 years. Time certainly flies when you're having fun. And initially, when I came on board, we saw so much success with the WAVE program. And we had a board conversation about launching an initiative for women. It's something that I did in a former life with lawn and landscape industry. And the goal was to launch it in 2020. Francine Gonzalez was our current chair, and we thought the timing would be great. We got a little sidelined due to COVID and kind of put it in the parking lot until recently. Donna Williams of POOLCORP is our chair, and POOLCORP came on as a strategic partner. So the timing was perfect to launch this initiative. I will tell you, whenever I travel and we have booths or we're attending other board meetings, so many women say, can you start a women's group, a networking group? So it's something that our customers, our members, our clients, whatever you want to call them, have really longed for. And there's so many amazing groups out there that WOW will complement those. We're going to work in partnership as PHTA always does. But it was just an increasing demand for members. Super excited to launch the initiative next month at Expo. So that's a little bit of the background on Women of Water.
Awesome. I mean, the industry is shifting and there's a clear need for stronger representation of women. So tell me, I mean, what are the primary goals of WOW? I mean, is it networking, leadership development, mentorship?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. We saw a tremendous opportunity to elevate and support women that are already making incredible contributions to the industry. You said it perfectly that the industry is evolving. We felt, it's great for education. Jamie's going to talk a little bit about the plan. We've worked very closely with Jamie on kind of the plan moving forward. We don't want it to be a one and done or just have it at Expo. So we've kind of mapped out an initial plan. But, just that connection, peer-to-peer learning, we see so much benefit from roundtable discussions. We're really excited about it. And it's gotten, we get calls on the daily about how do I get involved? What more are you going to do? Can you come to this show and have a WOW event? So I think it's going to be really exciting.
Maybe you could talk to us about some of the women that you've tapped to help you lead this initiative from the front.
You got two of them on the call here, obviously. Kendall and Jamie and Donna have been involved in the initial conversations for sure. Biolab, Alicia Stevens wants to get involved. We've got Sarah, who runs the Witty group at NESPA and does a phenomenal job. We've gotten folks like Alexa Del Pino out of California, who's on the Builders Council, and I'm so excited about it. So there's just been a lot of folks. We haven't gotten to a point, we're going to wait until Expo to kind of organize kind of a steering committee that's going to help kind of drive the program. But right now, we're just really hoping to fill seats. The WOW event will take place Friday at Expo. but we've got a laundry list of folks that we want to get involved, in the initiative. I think it's going to be met with, a lot of excitement and, open, inclusive. We want ideas. So I think, like this podcast, the more the merrier. Joe started out, it was just going to be you and I on this, and Kendall, Jamie joined the party. I know Marianne has reached out. She's going to be great to be involved in it as well. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there as we organize it. I think the industry is very familiar with Wave, and that's kind of been, chapters have latched onto Wave and had events. And we plan to do the same thing with WOW. We're going to come up with a toolkit for chapters to launch WOW events. You'll see us at regional shows as well. So there's going to be a lot that we're going to, give to the industry, the women in the industry.
Awesome. So Kendall, tell me, how did POOLCORP become a partner in this effort?
Yeah, absolutely. I know, Joe, last time I was on the show with you, I talked a lot about POOLCORP's initiatives for really 2026 and beyond. And, as you know, we're 45 years in business, celebrating our 30th year as a public company. And, one of the big initiatives this year has been really industry stewardship is how I'd frame it, right? And so when we looked across the bow, we said, Pool and Hot Tub Alliance is absolutely someone that we need to partner with. It started off earlier this year. Jamie and I met with Sabina and her group and said, look, as us being the largest distributor, you guys being the PHTA, we really have a commitment to really grow the industry. And we formed a strategic partnership. And, the one thing that we really align on so many things as it relates to progressing the industry, education, development of not only, our talent and our groups, like through this Women of Water event, but also just bringing new products to the industry, elevating our training, elevating our innovation. And so, again, I think this just felt a natural place for us to partner, and, so excited to, kick it off this year and really just continue to drive the value here.
Looking ahead, how do you hope Women of Water will reshape the industry culture over the next few years? And what changes would you like most to see?
Yeah, I think the one piece is we're such a special niche industry. It's so important for us to be supportive of each other. And again, going back to, when I think about POOLCORP, we've always been very focused on creating programs within our own networks. We have our MIT program that brings in, 100 new professionals annually, of which 15% are women. Also, in the past 5 years, we've formed what's called the WIN program. It stands for Women's Interactive Network. And it's essentially something we do within POOLCORP that's focused on creating this network of women for collaboration, mentorship, ideation, both personal and professional development. A lot of our male colleagues are also involved, which is really great and fantastic. And I think again, the natural progression was partnering, not just thinking about POOLCORP, but how do we expand beyond, right? And so how do we, I really want to see Women of Water, again, just support this fantastic niche industry and really create some meaningful programs that help industry professionals from entry level to executive across all groups, right? Pool professionals, business owners, distributors, manufacturers, right? So we're all in this together, and ultimately, I'm really excited to see where this goes.
We've seen other industries make great strides in representation. Do you see WOW as a catalyst to maybe accelerate that kind of shift in aquatics and make this industry more inclusive to women?
Absolutely. I think it's no secret. Women are not the majority in this industry. And, being a female executive at Pool has been, just one of the greatest honors that I have. But I know that it takes confidence, right? It takes mentorship, it takes collaboration. And I think confidence is probably the single most important thing there. So I really feel like this is going to be a really exciting initiative. I agree with everything Sabina said. The more the merrier. And I think we all are working together to, again, really build up this group of professionals and, create something that's not only safe, but inclusive and really giving folks the tools to really thrive.
Let me ask you guys a question. If you could fast forward to this time, 2026, what does success look like for this initiative?
So, Jamie, you want to take this one? I know you've been working so closely with Sabina on really how this kicks off.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, success looks like women from across North America collaborating, women's groups collaborating across the industry is powerful because it really helps to create that network of shared knowledge, mentorship, advocacy. I've had the pleasure of participating in so many different women's groups events throughout North America. I did one called Pour and Explore with the Pool and Hot Tub Council of Canada last December, active member of WITI, Women in the Industry group from the Northeast, which has done a ton for the industry. They host a sold out workshop every Monday of the AC show. And I've participated in so many other events throughout the country. So I just see success as, a thriving network of women that come together, that feel empowered to go after what they want. One of the things that I've talked about in some of the presentations that I've done in different women's groups events is this concept of a personal advisory board. And I put it out there the first time I ever talked to a group, and I said, find the people in the industry and outside of the industry that should be part of this personal advisory board, and really connect with them and make them part of your process when you're making difficult decisions. So I'm happy to say that, as being part of these different groups throughout the industry, I've been able to really solidify my personal advisory board. And there are members everywhere from Canada through the entire United States of people that I call when I have the tough questions or the tough decisions that I have to make. And one of the things about that is you want that diversity of thought. You want people that aren't going to just agree with you and tell you you're right and just go on from there. You want people that are going to challenge you and have that right balance of supportive, but pushing you to grow and come out of your shell a little bit. I've met so many women and men in this industry, to Kendall's point, that are just so supportive. There's been research studies about women's groups that have active male participants, supporting. They're actually more successful as an organization when things like that happen. So there's research around that. And I think we've got so many powerful allies throughout the industry that we can lean on tremendously.
I just want to say I love what Kendall touched on about what they're doing within POOLCORP. The Women of Water, and like how she touched on confidence. When I joined PHTA, it was a board of 9, and I was very impressed with the fact that 3 of the board members were females. We had Donna Williams on the board, Francine Gonzalez, and Anita Syed, all very strong women. And I had a lot of people, come up to me at shows and tell me, why are you doing this? You're going to fail. There's never been a female exec. It's a male dominated industry. I will tell you, I had tremendous support from the board, whether they were male or female. As we look to build this out and we talk about, your personal advisory board, know that the men in this industry play a huge role in success for women execs or women leaders. And we have a lot of future female leaders. We've got Kaylee Gibbs on our board, who just turned 30 and works for Gibbs Sands. But, that's an interesting component I think we can bring into, Women of Water. Just the support that you get you can have female and male mentors. They all help build that confidence. And, as you look to progress in the industry, it's something I never thought of until, Kendall, you touched on that. I just want to underscore, it is a women's networking group, but there are so many other components that, play into women in this industry.
And honestly, Sabina, to your point, there are a lot of men that don't understand like what their place is or how they can help or how should they even be a part of it. It's just really showing support and, offering to assist whenever possible, I think is what most of the women's groups that I've worked with are looking for, is just that ally that will lend an ear or, be supportive of the initiatives.
My wife, Marianne, is definitely very excited about what you guys are putting together. She definitely wants to find out how she can contribute and how Pool Magazine could be a part of this initiative too.
Yeah, I would say just show up, be a part of the events, whether they're in person or virtual. So just kind of touching on the in-person event, it will be on day 3 of the International Pool and Spa Show, Friday, October 24th from 8 to 10:15 a.m., which is awesome for me as an East Coaster because it's going to actually feel like 11 is when it starts, but it will be worth the early morning. I've actually had the privilege of hearing Heather Wepley speak before, and she is just absolutely fantastic. She's got great energy. She's very welcoming and inclusive, and she's just the ideal person to learn and grow from. It will include breakfast, and then the session is going to be followed by a book signing by Heather. I've read one of her books. I'm really excited to get my hands on her other book, which will be provided to attendees as part of this event. And then she'll be doing a book signing following the event itself as well. That's the in-person component, if people are at the Vegas show or they're in the Vegas area and they can make it. But Sabina had this kind of idea that she wanted it to go past just one event and be something that others who maybe couldn't travel to a show or weren't able to get away would be able to be a part of it. So that was one of the things that I thought was really interesting about what Sabina wanted to do with Women of Water was, as POOLCORP, we've got thousands of employees throughout North America, throughout the world actually, and how can they get the benefit of some of these things that WOW is working on? So Sabina, do you want to talk about, how this kind of evolved with the virtual component?
Yeah, absolutely. Heather, who will be doing the session on Friday, is also going to do a session at the Genesis Solution Center on Thursday. And she is amazing. And so she's one of those people that she's got this, her superpower is just, I think, connection. And I could have talked to her for 5 hours. And, she's very thoughtful and she has like a host of sessions that she does. And I was like, Heather, I don't want to wait for next November to do another one. Can you do this in a webinar format? And how does that work? So we will do 2 webinars in 2026 with Heather. And she does a session, whether it's in person or virtual. She makes it highly interactive. Like she talks about going into breakout rooms and having breakout sessions and then coming back. And then she gives each attendee a toolkit so that it's reminders of kind of the learning objectives and how you can apply it to, your everyday work life. We will do 2 sessions. We're working with our partners to see what they've got scheduled, so we're not kind of stepping on one another. But we'll do that, and then we'll do another session in person at Expo next year that will take place in New Orleans. So really excited for that. I do think once we put together a steering committee or we talk, there's going to be a host of ideas and other things that we'll be able to deliver for the industry. Stay tuned for that. More to come.
Yeah, just to add on to that, Sabina, I think, Joe, the important thing here is, I'm so excited for what Sabina and Jamie have put together for this launch at Expo. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's really, the inaugural event, but we are never a set it and forget it. This is, we have a roadmap to, create a full scale program that leverages some of the things that we've done within our own network at POOLCORP, again, in terms of content resources, mentorship programs, the MIT program, and really kind of combine the best practices of that and then work with Sabina and PHTA to really then bring that just beyond POOLCORP, right? To, the hundreds of thousands of customers we serve, the manufacturer partners that we work with. So again, just really excited about, what this looks like, not only this year and just super excited.
Having been in the pool industry for over 20 years now, it's evolved so much. And having groups like this have been a big part of it. And I think, the more of these groups that we can put together and the more we can get people collaborating, it just elevates the industry as a whole.
I think it's great. I mean, I love the partnership there. I think it makes a lot of sense. I'm looking forward to hearing Heather speak. I've heard her speak before. She's going to be delivering the keynote, The Power of Grounded Confidence, How to Unleash Your Authenticity and Become Unshakable. That's going to be Friday, October 24th at 8 o'clock in the morning. The educational session, Mastering Tough Talks, How to Communicate with Confidence, Clarity, and Calm and Conflict and Beyond. That's going to be on Thursday, October 23rd at 4 p.m. in the Genesis Solution Center on the show floor. Make sure that you register early. Pool Magazine has a promo code that you can use to get access to the expo hall. That's POOLMAG25. Again, POOLMAG25 will get you free access to the expo hall. So make sure that you use that if you need to get in. Ladies, thank you so much for spending time with us this morning to discuss the Women of Water initiative. Really excited to see what the future holds for this initiative and what 2025, 2026 looks like for you guys.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for having us, Joe.
That's going to be a wrap for today's episode of Pool Magazine Podcast. A huge thank you to Sabina Hickman, Kendall Large, Jamie Novak for joining us and for sharing more about the Women of Water and the impact that it's going to have on our industry. If you'd like to get involved or learn more, be sure to visit the PHTA and POOLCORP's website. Keep an eye out on the WOW kickoff this October at the International Pool Spa Patio Expo. As always, thank you for listening. Don't forget to share, follow, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast.
This episode of Pool Magazine Podcast is proudly sponsored by Aquamatic Cover Systems, the leaders in functional technology across an entire spectrum of swimming pool covers. Today, retractable pool covers are an important part of any pool project. Regardless of your needs or budget, if your concerns are safety, energy efficiency, pool cleanliness, evaporation control, or all the above, Aquamatic has you covered. To learn more about Hydrolux, our most advanced and adaptable automatic system, visit us on the web today at aquamatic.com.